Hello, today we're going to be making apple banana muffins. I have a banana in here and it's a very ripe banana, so it should mash up very well. Usually you can just use a fork to do this to get it started in the process. I like to use bananas in all my muffins because it's a natural sweetener. Bananas have a lot of sugar in them, but they are lower on the glycemic index. What does that mean, you say? Well, that means that when you eat something that is high on the glycemic index, it will spike your blood sugar. Spiking your blood sugar is not a good thing. If you do that too many times throughout your life, you increase your risk of getting type 2 diabetes. So always strive for sweeteners that are natural because they also have some vitamins in them and that they're lower on the glycemic index. So I've got my mashed banana in here, and the next thing I'm going to add, I'm doing this as a vegan version, and instead of putting an egg in here, I have got some flaxseed meal that I have mixed with water. It's about 2.5 parts of water, or 2.5 tablespoons of water to 1 tablespoon of flaxseed meal. Flaxseed is a small seed. It's an oily seed. And it's great because it has fiber. It also has been shown to help postmenopausal women with things like hot flashes, mood improvement. It's a really healthy thing to have in your diet. I use the meal in this case, which is just ground up flax seeds, and it's more of a powdery substance, and it mixes well with the water for your egg replacement. You can use the whole seeds if you want. This just mixes up better, and you don't even know it's in there other than its benefits. So I'll put that in there, and then I do not use dairy milk. I don't like the inflammation it can cause. It's not as good for your skin. Believe it or not, years and years ago, no one ever drank any kind of dairy milk. Once they were past being nursed by their mothers, they did not drink dairy anymore. We've gotten away from that, and I believe in taking dairy out of the diet. That's a personal choice. I feel better for it, and so I'm going to continue. But I've got 1/2 cup of almond milk here, no dairy in it. And because I have the banana in here as a sweetener, and later we're going to be putting apples in there as a sweetener, all I need is 1/4 cup of sweetener in here. And I use the coconut palm sugar. Again, it's lower on the glycemic index, and it gives it a good flavor, more like a molasses flavor or brown sugar flavor. So I'm going to put that in there. We've got our bananas, our flaxseed meal mixed with the water, the almond milk, and the coconut palm sugar. I'm going to put this in my stand mixer, and I'm going to mix it up just a little bit. That's good. The banana will still be a little bit lumpy, but it'll incorporate in very nicely. Next, I'm going to mix my dry ingredients. Now, I like to use almond flour in a lot of my recipes. If you're looking to cut carbs, almond flour is very low in carbs. But another thing I like about almond flour is it's gluten-free and it's wheat-free. For those of you who have a gluten intolerance or a wheat intolerance, you can use the almond flour. I think it has a little bit of a sweeter flavor to it too. I use it a lot. So I've got 3/4 cup here, and I've got 3/4 cup of just all-purpose flour. You could use oat flour. You could use any kind of other flour you want. You could use all almond flour. It tends not to rise too much. So I find that 3/4 cup of almond flour and 3/4 cup of another flour is a good mixture. And I'm going to put about 1/2 teaspoon of salt in here. Typically I use a pink salt. It's a little bit healthier for you, less iodine in it. And here I've got 3/4 teaspoon of baking powder. That's going to help them raise a little bit since the almond flour will weigh it down. And of course cinnamon, not only tasty but also has health benefits. I've got a whole teaspoon of that. And what I'm gonna do is just whisk this up a little bit so we don't get any clumps of baking powder. And sometimes the almond flour has some lumps in it, so you can break that down a little bit. It doesn't take very long. But I'm gonna put my mixer on low so I don't wear this flour. And slowly start pouring it in. Turn it up a little bit. And there's that. So all we have left is to add the apples, and I'm going to add some pecans. Again, the apples do have sugar, but it's lower on the glycemic index, and your body can process it a lot better than table sugar. I try to stay away from table sugar as much as I can because of that. And so we're going to take this off the mixer stand. And now we're going to add in, hand mix in. I have 1 apple. You can use any kind that you'd like, but I finely dice it. You can put it in your processor, make it like applesauce if you'd like, but I like kind of a little bit of the texture that the apples add. And we're gonna put that in there. And then I have some pecans. I didn't do anything fancy to chop them. I just break them with my hand. And it just depends on how much you like to have the nuts. You can have walnuts, you can have pecans, you can use different kinds. I like the oiliness of the pecans. Again, pecans have some protein in them, and they have the healthy omega-3 fatty acids that your body really needs. So I've probably got about 1/3 of a cup there. You can add more or less, just it all depends on your taste. And at this point, you're just gonna hand mix it. And if you see, like I do, that your batter is just a little bit thicker than you want it to be, you can always add a little bit of water or a little more almond milk. It won't be pour consistency, but it'll be scoop consistency. So I like to put these in, a lot of times, the mini muffin pans that are lined with papers. You can use the full-size muffin tins, line them with paper just for ease of cleanup. And you can also just put it in a loaf pan and make it into bread. But as you can see, it's a pretty thick consistency. I could probably water that down just a little bit, but it'll work just like this also. So I will put these in the muffin pans. You know how that works, so I don't need to video that. But I wanted you to know how easy it is to make a healthier version of a muffin. It's got the gluten-free, part of it is gluten-free flour, so you're cutting way back on your carbs also. You're cutting back on table sugar. There's no table sugar in here, so that's better for you. The flaxseed meal has benefits. The pecan has benefits. Of course, you know the bananas have some potassium in them, which helps with your muscles cramping and that sort of thing. So that's how we mix up our apple pecan muffins. I hope you've enjoyed this lesson. I won't bore you with scooping them and baking them, but give it a try. Go to eatlikeawinner.com. You'll find all kinds of recipes in there, and you'll get an explanation as to why the ingredients are healthier for you to use and how you can be a better you if you eat like a winner. Thank you.